Okay, we'll do all of those. Well, welcome everyone, and excuse my barking dog, who is always alert on our road to any leaf that drops from a tree. And we actually still do in the Northwest have leaves dropping from the trees. So hopefully we'll be able to contain her. Welcome. This is our, I think, our third chat for the week. We do these by month, and we try and do them regionally. So yesterday we were in New Zealand and the United Kingdom. And today we're here in the US, and we'll be following that by going right after this call to Australia, which is always an exhilarating way to spend your time. We'd love for people to know who is on this call. And if we could just go around and people could introduce themselves and let us know where you're from. And if you're a partner, if you're a member to the Charter for Compassion, or if you represent in one way or another a compassionate community or city initiative. And so I'm going to just follow my screen, which I know is not always the way that people appear on each other's screen. But Sophia, you are first on my upper left.
Thank you. I am Sophia, and I'm logging in from Portland, Oregon. I am a member of the Charter for Compassion. I've signed on, but I have not participated in any activities here. So this is my first time. I'm affiliated with a large metropolitan Unitarian Universalist church here in Portland. And the compassionate communities that I serve, I've offered a weekly best food service, and I also have a weekly compassionate conversation group.
Great, thank you so much, Sophia. David, you're next in my lineup here.
Oh, okay. My name is David Walensky. I live in Central Maryland in Frederick. I don't even know if I represent myself. However, since the Pacific Northwest already came up, the only other thing I want to say is I just finished Susan Simard's book, Finding the Mother Tree, and that is life-changing as far as I can tell.
Thank you for that recommendation. Michelle.
Good day and hello, everybody. My name is Michelle Sherman. I'm from Seattle, Washington, West Seattle, Washington.
Right.
And I was a part of the original charter and have been in my heart doing this work with people over the course of years. And I'm executive director of Illuminating Human Kindness, where we welcome kind-hearted power into the world in ways that are delightful and also a little bit, I'd say, whimsical.
Okay, so, great, thank you. And I'm in Kingston, which is just a few ferry rides away from you. Okay.
Good to hear, Marilyn.
Great. Is that Bettina Gray?
First, I have to unmute.
Yes.
I am in the San Francisco Bay Area. I am not directly a member of the Charter, although very well aware of the work. I'm a close friend with one of the board members, Garth Jameson, and another close friend of one of your new projects, the Lanterns to Ukraine. I work with Paul Andrews every week regularly through musical connections. I am a co-founder, one of the early founders of the North American Interfaith Network, and I'm quite involved in various interfaith activities and used to be a broadcast interviewer with PBS, I did an original interview series with spiritual teachers and leaders at the World Parliament of Religions.
Mhm.
So I'm still very deeply involved in many peace projects,
It's
which
really good to
cross
see you.
over.
It's really good to see you again. I remember fondly sharing a table with
Yes.
you at Stanford.
And you've been very helpful to us to name when we needed some projects. Thank you.
You're welcome. And Rachel, on your iPad.
Yes, I need to learn. My last name is not iPad, so
Well, I figured it wasn't, but I wanted to acknowledge it. And
I'm from Long Beach, New York. This is my second time joining a chat. I'm a retired children's librarian, a member of the charter. I'm using my retirement, which is now in its third year, for spiritual seeking. And it has led me to deeper meditation, deeper knowledge of the oneness, deeper knowledge of the necessity of compassion, and that God is love, and that's our purpose. So that I've been following the charter from its inception, was always too busy to get involved, and my seeking just has led me to continue.
great.
So thank you for being. I think you're
thank you.
wonderful.
Thank you. And Jeff, I'm not sure. I see that your mic is off, but we're not hearing you.
You can't hear me?
Now we can.
Okay. Hi there. I am Jeff Edelstein. I am speaking to you from the state of Maine. I am both a longtime public policy mediator working in government and in Washington, but I'm here because I am in the process of starting a rather ambitious new nonprofit in the state of Maine, which is a statewide initiative on compassion. We are called Acts of Kindness Maine, and I have met with Merida and Susan Soleil a few months, or maybe a number of months back now. And since that time, we actually have been getting a huge amount of traction. And so we are looking at basically how to operationalize kindness. Sorry, I was going to say Congress. How to operationalize and mainstream kindness. And we are working with folks in the business sector, with college presidents, with the nonprofit community, a number of partners throughout Maine, and looking at doing some work with the state legislature, which is actually very exciting. So I'm actually really thrilled at the snowball effect that we are having here in the great state of Maine, as we say.
Congratulations on that. And one thing, if I can just interject here, last year, the folks in California, Compassionate California, because they've come together. We have 23 compassionate cities in California. They worked with their local legislators, assembly people, and California's first state to sign the Charter for Compassion. And we're absolutely thrilled about that. We have a Texas state group right now. And boy, if we can do this in Texas, wouldn't that be extraordinary? But there are people there who have gone through some of the things that you're going through, and we'd love to put you in contact with them. Okay, I have a feeling that McHenry is not your first name, but maybe it is, but I don't want to offend.
Thank you. My name is Henry McHenry, actually.
Yes, it is. Okay, good.
And I'm in the countryside outside Charlottesville, Virginia, and the founder of a curriculum, a project called Meetings of Opposites, which takes as its seminal distinction Buber's between I, you, and I, it, and investigates the nature of the mechanism of visual perception in order to contrast it with the possibilities of authentic being together. And so the aim is to substitute relationship for perception.
Great.
The first time here and hoping that I will find some chords of relationship among you.
Okay, very good. Jeanette. And I bet your last name isn't Denver, but you're from Denver.
No, anybody who comes through Denver takes on the name Denver. So it's John
Oh.
Denver, Jeanette Denver. We're
I
all kind
didn't
of
know
Denver.
that. Okay.
Hi, my name is Jeanette. Last name is Baust. I'm in Denver, Colorado. I come from originally Philly, actually in the city of Philly, not those other parts where people say they're from Philly, in the city. And also lived in San Diego for a while. I've enjoyed hearing the touchstones for each of you, kind of organizations and things like that. So I thought, oh, maybe I should just make a couple of notes for myself, try to remind myself where I've been. Broad spectrum religiously, from German Reformed Church to evangelical, to mainline Christian, to New Thought, to interfaith, to now sort of whatever. So it's been kind of an interesting journey, meeting a lot of people and deconstructing, trying to reconstruct, still working on that. My therapist laughs at that. He said, do you think you're ever going to have a worldview that's reconstructed? I said, I'm 65 and starting to doubt it now. So, my academic area has been sociology of religion and culture. So I've taught a little bit, a class particularly called Negotiating Our Cultural Identities. And when people say, what's that? I say everything we throw things at each other about. So, so that's been fun with undergraduates when I've done that. Some other touchstones, the Association for Global New Thought, the Parliament of the World's Religions, the Charter certainly, and I'm in a class now with Steve, who's here. That's about compassion and activism. I've spent a lot of time being an activist, an educator, and in a lot of different organizations, many of which are either in flux, transition, or decomposition. So either from churches and religious organizations to academia to activism groups that are in various conditions. So it's a very interesting time to have, and also Ghost Ranch, for some of you who know Ghost Ranch in the United States, retreat center. So those are some touchstones along the way.
You know, I'm going to encourage people who might want to be in contact with one another. If you would put in the chat your email address, if you would be open to people contacting you. And then at the end of this conversation, you can go down to below where you would be writing your chat. There's 3 little dots, and you can actually save everything that's in the chat. Probably most of you know that, but it's just a little reminder. Carla May.
Hello, everybody. I'm Carla May Streeter. I'm my title is convener for Compassionate St. Louis, and we're on a run to do a regional type of thing. We have the well, you might say almost sorrowful reality of having 88 suburbs to our city due to white flight. And so we have county, city, and what we call Metro East, which is immediately across the Mississippi River in East St. Louis, which is the leftover bedraggled town from ammunitions that were made during World War II. It's a poverty area. So we are looking at a regional development of Compassionate St. Louis. We're at the point where we're aiming at 500 endorsements from organizations. We have about 55 organizations, and we have the rest. We have 356 in the bag. We're aiming at 500, and then the mayor knows we're coming.
Okay.
So we just got an endorsement from the head of the aldermanic city board, Megan Green has signed on, and we are working with her. The mayor knows about us. We were trained, or we were mentored by Louisville and Greg Fisher, who was the mayor for
That's what I
the
said. That's why I
the,
kicked it out of it, because I don't know what they're talking about right now.
Okay, if we're getting feedback from someone, so if you wouldn't mind turning off your microphone when you're talking to other people, that would be great. Sorry, Carla May, go ahead.
So that's about enough. We're in process. I brought the charter back from Karen Armstrong at the Australia Parliament back in 2009. And so we've been working since then, and slowly, we call it a stealth campaign. And right now our kind of goal is to rebrand the St. Louis region. Instead of being the place of violence and lots of murders, we want to be the heartland of the United States, where we are one of the 10 most compassionate regions where you would want to live.
Great, thank you, Carla May. Elizabeth.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth, and I'm in San Antonio, Texas. So I'm happy to be here representing Texas. We are a compassionate city, and actually recently our mayor went to to DC to mayor's conference and presented Compassionate USA to the other mayors. And so that was, I think I'm really proud of that. I've taken part in compassion integrity training. I'm really not sure what I'm going to do with that. I've used it in my regular life as a retired teacher and a spiritual seeker, like Rachel said, very similar to her story. I'm still kind of looking for my niche of what I'm going to do, but I'm happy to see so many people from so many different places, all on the same thoughts, having the same ideas. So thank you.
You know, I just want to interject here that Compassionate USA is going to be launched in June. And the charter will be a major part of that launch. And for people who might be considering coming to the Parliament of World Religions, we have our fingers crossed that the mayor, Ron, will be joining us from San Antonio at the Parliament to really get a lot of people enthusiastically involved in Compassionate USA. And so you know that the charter has a weekly newsletter. And so we try and keep up with everything that's going on. And we probably will begin to address Compassionate USA because it's very all-encompassing. It will involve US mayors in cities that are over 30,000. So every one of the mayors will know a lot about it. And Ron from San Antonio, Nienberg, who is the mayor there, will be, is right now the compassionate officer for the mayors. And Greg Fisher, as Carla May indicated, was really instrumental through the years of bringing the whole notion of compassionate cities in front of mayors. And so we're really looking forward to the opportunity that all of you might be able to latch on to Compassionate USA in schools and businesses, in social service organizations, restorative justice organizations, and interfaith groups, and specifically within the context of cities. So we're really excited about that. So Steve, you are next.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Steve Kramer, and I hail from Seattle, Washington. And I'm one of the co-leads for the environment sector for the charter. And I'm also a volunteer with the religion, interfaith, spirituality for Earth sector. I'm becoming more involved in the local Seattle community with Northwest Interfaith and working with a couple groups to have them, they used to be involved with the charter, and we're planning on them becoming more involved in the future. And I guess that's really it for now. Well, actually, I'm hoping that our Seattle mayor will be on board also. Seattle was the first compassionate city, and I think we have lost some of that compassion, unfortunately, through the years, and we need to focus on that again. So we'll see what happens.
Right, and I should say that just to underscore what Steve said, Seattle was the first compassionate city, and I'm going to just put something up in front of you, and if you get the right answer, then I'm going to see if I can get you a free ticket to the Parliament of World Religions. And so, what was the second city that was a compassionate city? And it's not Louisville. So just in case people were going to guess that.
I think I know. Is it Frankfort, Kentucky?
No, it's not.
Okay. Good luck, everybody.
I was
Okay.
going, yeah.
Merida.
Is it Louisville, Kentucky?
No,
I
no,
was
it's
going to
not.
say, or Atlanta.
No, you're going to introduce yourself.
All right. I thought you were asking me some kind of exam.
No.
No, I'm Merida McCarthy, and I'm program coordinator for the Charter for Compassion. I'm actually joining you from Monterrey, Mexico. So all those emails that you get inviting you to US chats, that's me. And whatever I can do to help you out to understand more about the charter, to communicate you with somebody else, that's also me. And I'm happy to be here and see all this wonderful work that you're all doing.
Okay, great. And I should just say we're a very small staff. We have right now 2 people in Chile, in South America. Our education coordinator is Irish, but he lives in Madrid. And our person who keeps us all in line, Lynn, is both from the Netherlands and from the US. So we're pretty much an international group of people who come your way when we do these things. Now, I don't know what happened, but I've lost track because my Zoom screen has totally changed. And so let's see, Mariana, is that the right pronunciation?
Yes, that is correct.
There's
Mariana.
there's a lot of consonants and vowels there. So
There's a lot written there. Yes, but so my name is Mariana Mott Neuwirth, and I'm the co-founder and general director of Opera Practicos. Before I go any further, is there anybody on this call who is low vision or blind or would benefit from a visual description? If not, I will go forward with my spiel. So yes, I'm an opera person. I am a librettist and a creative producer. I have actually been aware of the Charter for Compassion from the early days. I remember Karen Armstrong's email. I don't even remember when it was, but I just remember there was like bad stuff happening and it looked like everything was hopeless. And Karen was like, we're going to do this thing. And I'm like, okay, and so I've been monitoring and watching kind of from afar. This is the first time I've actually gotten involved in any compassionate organizational things. So I'm very happy to meet you all. I'm in New York City, and as my earlier request indicates, my opera company, Opera Practicos, is New York City's first disability affirmative opera company. And my mission really is I am a fully able-bodied person. I may have some undistinguished disabilities in the area of learning disability, but opera in particular is really on the verge of this breakthrough in understanding that there are people who live full lives with disabilities, and that I have an opportunity and a pleasure and an
Can we
honor.
have some music?
Can you have some music? I'm a word person. I'm not a composer, although I've already hooked up with a composer here. So we might be creating something before you know it. But really disability creativity and disability artistry is something that's really, really, really important to me, and accessibility for everyone in this particular art form, which translates into compassion, because music is an avenue
Good.
towards compassion.
Thank you.
So
Fantastic.
thank
Okay,
you.
we have so many people on this call that I'm just going to encourage people to we speed it up a little bit as we go through, because we do want to give a face and to everyone and a location. By the way, Basalt and the Heart of Steamboat, I'm going to go to you, and I have a feeling we've met.
We may have at the Parliament of the World's
That's right.
Religions.
I
2015.
can even picture you standing on the side next to a newsprint piece of paper. But it wasn't Basalt, Colorado. But it's really a surprise. It happened simultaneously at the same time that Seattle became a compassion city.
Yes,
It's not in the United States. So you can keep filtering through. But why don't you go ahead, and I apologize because I don't remember your name.
That's
And I
okay.
know it's not Heart of Steamboat.
And I apologize for registering like that. That's who my Zoom account was through. I'm Marie Gassaw. I was the pastor of the Basalt Community United Methodist Church at the time that we declared ourselves a compassionate community. Now we weren't a city. And that was in 2011. We began the campaign in the fall of 2010 because my after-school kids were very concerned about the bullying they saw at school.
Mhm.
And we honestly saw the Charter for Compassion as a way of uniting the community in finding ways to move through our prejudices and our difficulties. I am now part of the Heart of Steamboat community, which is in Colorado. Heart of Steamboat began as a United Methodist Church, and it now houses 4 different faiths. Obviously, our United Methodist congregation, Har Mishpacha, which is a Jewish congregation, let's see, I'm trying to remember how they do it, Buddhist Center of Steamboat Springs, and a wonderful Muslim group. All those 4 within the same facility and beginning to interact. We last year offered an experiment in compassion, a 7-week look at Current's 12 Steps to a Compassionate Life. And it's an introductory thing. And then after that, we established monthly 12-step meetings that are based on the basic 12-step AANA Al-Anon format, which I think Karen follows if you really look at that, her book that way. Anyway, we're offering our 2nd experiment coming up in just about a month. And the hope is that it will truly become an interfaith, intergenerational approach, using the congregational facility as a springboard, but something that will eventually be a part of the entire community and hopefully the county. That's our goal.
Great, thank you so much. Boy, that brings back, Colorado brings back memories. I used to teach at Colorado College in the summers. And so I would venture out on the weekends, and Steamboat was one of my favorite places to go. So nice to have you here. Dee, I don't know if this is fair or not. I see your name and I see a blank wall. And so if you're there, speak to us. If not, I'm going to go on to Scott. Why don't you go?
Turn on my microphone. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Scott Griswold, and I'm here in my basement in Urbana, Ohio. And I became aware of the Charter of Compassion when I was teaching religious studies at Urbana University using material from Karen Armstrong, and folks from our community became very involved in the Charter for Compassion. I also co-pastor a church in South Vienna, Ohio, with my wife. My ministry has kind of changed because 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with dementia, Alzheimer's, stage 1, which really formed a new ministry for me. I go out as a community educator and advocate for people with dementia. And part of that is teaching or redeeming dementia in a way that people have a sense of self-respect, no matter what differently abled condition they might be in. And part of that is to kind of tie this in with compassionate living. So thank you.
Thank you, Scott. I see that there are a number of people who I don't see on the screen. And, you know, if Albert is here, I'm guessing I'd love to make contact with you because Albert, I think you're the new person in St. Augustine in Florida. Am I right?
Hey, good evening, folks. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hey, good. Hey, it's Arthur Colbert, and St. Augustine, Florida, which you probably all know is the oldest city in America. And I'm the executive director of Compassion St. Augustine, and we were the first compassionate city in Florida, and not clear, somewhere between 20th and 30th, somewhere in the world. We celebrate our 10-year anniversary next September. And so we are very excited about this. Our founder, Karen Goldman, passed the torch to me not so long ago. And I think what's really exciting for us here in St. Augustine is our focus on youth. You know, we are kind of rebranding, reformulating, moving forward with Compassion St. Augustine. And on our strategic team, we have a high school junior, we have 2 college freshmen, in addition to the usual cast of characters that you might find in a community. But I think really important, at least for us as a city, to move forward, for us to have young people involved. And the other thing that's significant about us is that we have a sister city in Spain that is our compassionate sister city. And so it's a really vibrant community. Compassion continues to be woven through the community as much as possible. And so I'm grateful to be a part of it. I'm grateful to be part of this call this evening and expect to continue to play a larger part as we go forward. So thank you all. Thank you all for everything that you're doing, because it's amazing in terms of what Karen's created, what Marilyn and others are doing, and all the volunteers and all the various cities and institutions that we hear about this evening are just wonderful. So thank you all.
Thank you. It's really great to put a name to a face. And I know that there are a number of people who aren't on camera here. And, you know, please let us know if you would like to make yourself known to the rest of the group. We have a, you know, that took a while, but I think it's really important that we get to know one another and share with one another. And we have a lot to share with you about what's happening across the board, because as you can imagine, if you could join Merida and myself as we go from country to country, having these kinds of calls, it is just so positive about the kinds of things that are going on in the world. You know, if we were in Pakistan and we had this call, we would probably be talking about schools of terrorism. We would be talking about water sanitation. If we're in India, we would be talking about organic farming and how we could spread that within the communities and involve villagers in their market techniques of how to really conserve the amount of money that they need for crops. And so, you know, it goes in that direction in terms of right now of the global community of compassionate cities, of which sometimes we don't even know what the number is. We have over really close to 490 registered. And sometimes we get a surprise email that said, our city council just passed the Charter for Compassion. And it's the first time that we've ever heard about it. But we also have, as Carla May was saying, that we have areas, even in the United States, like Syracuse, for example, that has, I think it is 41 different communities surrounding Syracuse. Dallas, Fort Worth, 23 communities in that particular outreach. Toledo and northeastern Ohio. I don't know how many are in that region. So that's why sometimes it makes it a little bit difficult to know exactly what the number is. But the good works are everywhere, and that's positive news that you don't see on television. One of the things that, well, several things that you have all mentioned today that I think we have some supporting tools for you to consider. One, Albert, I'm going to go immediately and also to what has been said about anyone who's involved in youth. We started something in September, not that it was-
Marilyn,
Yes.
Kimberly from Atlanta would like to
Okay, go ahead.
introduce herself.
Okay, Kimberly.
Hi, you guys. I'm sorry. Oh, is it on mute? Okay, it's not on mute. Sorry to interrupt, Marilyn.
That's okay.
I'm in Atlanta. I started working with Compassionate Atlanta as a contractor. My first project with them was hosting a disability panel. I just want to say I am so excited about the projects everybody is working on. It's very encouraging. I don't know if it's made national news or not, but Atlanta is experiencing a lot of turmoil right now. And that has been discouraging. So I just want to say thank you guys for doing the amazing work that you are doing. I think it is very important we learn how to operationalize compassion, how to practice it, how to model it and demonstrate it to others so they can learn a better way than how we're doing things now. Please connect with me. I dropped my information in the chat. I would love to talk to you guys, brainstorm together. I would love to get some feedback on what I'm working on. And I know we're short on time, so I'm leave it at that. Thank you, Marilyn.
Okay. Thank you, Kimberly. And I just want to finish up with the youth piece because all of you are in communities where youth will be taking over the jobs that we have, whether they're jobs where we are getting a paycheck or they're volunteer jobs that we have. And last year, we really started to talk about how is it that we can have youth give a voice to the Charter for Compassion. So we did a number of things. One, as our board reconsidered its bylaws, we made a decision that we would have at least 25% of our board be young people. And that means young people between the age of 18 and 35. I think that we are just about ready to achieve that with the next voice from the.
I'm gonna listen to this one. I can't hear it that well.
Are you on?
I think, Albert, that might be you. I'm not sure. So I'm going to, there you go, mute. But one of the other things that we did was to start something called Youth Collaborating for Compassion. And so if you are working with groups of young people, we would love to get them involved. We had a 2-day conference of Youth Collaborating for Compassion. We had 178 youth from 5 countries, and they created their own agenda. We followed that in December with another 2-day conference. We had over 200 people that participated. And it's primarily for youth. They set the agenda, they set the conversation. We are going at the Parliament of World Religions to do the same thing, bring Youth Collaborating for Compassion to the Parliament for the young people who are at the Parliament, but we're also trying to get time release from school. Isn't that a horrible thing, time release? It sounds like a prison. but to get students to participate in this kind of youth collaborating for compassion, the process that we use is called open space technology. And we're excited about doing that. We're not sure if we're going to do it for 1 day or for 2 days. But you know, we're in the process of developing that. We're also working with another group called Crossing Borders, which was started by Arndt Wechter, who was from West Germany. He now lives in Scotland, but he has been working with Cisco. And so we have been experiencing that platform, which is a really exciting platform. And if you're interested in the youth component, please let us know. Send us an email, write it in the chat, and we'll get information to you. We have a youth ambassador group right now, about 24 young people from all over the world that we help train through UNESCO Mahatma Gandhi Educational Institute, and they constitute that group. So we're really excited about that. Merida, if you wouldn't mind putting up the map of co-creators, or the co-creators map. This is a way that all of you can communicate with one another directly. And it's the Charter's gift to any organization that wants this. There's no money involved, nothing like that. We want to get to a tipping point where people really feel that they can take their passion and they can work with one another, whether it's a person down the street in our locale, or if it's a person across the world. And the way that the map is organized, here comes one other person. The way that the map is organized is around the way that the Charter is organized, around sector interests. So if you know about some of the work of the Charter, you know that we have 12 sectors, which are very, they're just there in every community. Issues around health and social justice, restorative justice, education, social services. So that's how the Charter really is about the work that it does. But Merida, have you been able to get the map? You can put it up and I can talk over the map. And the thing about it's really, we tested it over and over and over again. You don't have to worry about being hacked, because you can see on the upper navigation bar, it says deregister. No one but you can go in and change. If we can just concentrate on the US right now, we launched this, I think we launched it in late September. And the idea here is to, Merida, if you could just go up to registration or to register. So we just want to show you how this is done, that you can go in and you can represent yourself, your organization, or your compassionate city, whatever it might be. And then you simply put in your email address. No one sees this email address, but it is a way for you to eventually communicate with someone. And then it's really important that you put in your country and your region, or in our case, for the US, the state. But most importantly is the zip code or postal code, because unbeknownst to many of us, those postal codes are duplicated in other countries in the world. So for example, my Kingston address is also the same zip code as Zacatecas in Mexico. So if I don't have US representative there, then it will go to the wrong place, or the pinpoint would be wrong. The primary area of interest is, where is your passion? Where do you put, and you can only choose one. And I know that's really difficult for some of us, but is it in interfaith religion and spirituality? Is it in science and technology, like the neuroscience of compassion? Is it in peace and the prospect of working in areas like a nuclear-free world, in education, whatever it might be? But you can only have one for primary, but you can have many for secondary. And the more that you can put down, the more that people can, see, geez, I'd like to make contact with this person. So the other thing that we just want to share with you, if you can get out of that, Merida, and go to filter. So as we journey from the people who have indicated and put their pinpoint on the map, we can say, gosh, I have a project and I want to find out if somebody else is doing the same thing. I want to find out if somebody can help with answering some questions around this project. I just want to meet people who are involved in the same kind of thing. Last month, we had a webinar, not a webinar, we had one of these chats with Canada, and a person volunteered to be for us to put his name on the map, and he was in palliative care. And so we filled out the whole thing, and he was able to accept the registration. And believe it or not, on his very street on which he lived, there was another person who was in palliative care that he did not know about. So it was a great opportunity for him to make contact with that individual. So the map is for us, you can take it, and if you are from another organization, you can claim this map as your own. We don't care. You can brand it as your own. So, the North American Interfaith Group can take it and say, this is our map. The idea here is that we get as many passionate people who are interested in empathy, compassion, and kindness, really interacting with one another. So that's one of the things. And we hope, and if you have any hesitation about the map, we would really like to talk to you about it. We anticipate that everyone who's involved in Compassionate St. Louis would be on this map. Everyone who is involved, we're going to have a big setup at the Parliament of World Religions, and everyone who comes to our booth, we're going to encourage them to get on the map, and they can see themselves getting pinpointed on the map right away. And more importantly, to connect with people. The other thing that we have put a lot of time and effort into, I think we can get out of it right now, but let's see if anyone has any questions about this. I'm on a steam engine here, and I have to stop and let you ask some questions. So Merida, if we can come back to them, just get out of the map. Okay. Does anyone have any questions about this at all? Okay, so you've all bought into it. That's great. So that means by tomorrow, we're going to have another 25 people on the map, and then we'll give you another few days so that you can contact another 25 people, and then 25 people, and we can get the show on the road for compassion. The other thing that we've created over the last months has been something called the Wisdom Book. And each one of you have a story. And it's a story of positive happenings in your community or within your organization. And what we are trying to do, again, to gather the stories, the chapters are our sector headlines, so that in healthcare, in education, we get these stories out in the world, so that people can steal them from you. And that's one thing, that when you write a story for this book, you know that somebody is going to take that story and they're going to duplicate it. They're going to change it in some way so that they can make it their own. So, like, for example, and we have to get this story in. And we started the environment group, of which Steve is a part of, started something called the Compassionate Tree Project, because we felt that as a charter, we should be able to assure that we can get 1 billion trees planted. And so that's our goal. And we've been at it now just for about 2 years. And one of the things in Monterrey, Mexico, is that there is a wonderful conference every year called Encuentro. And so we were in Monterrey, and we got the assistant mayor or associate mayor, I'm not sure what the title is, from San Antonio, happens to be a sister city to Monterrey. And Monterrey challenged San Antonio to plant 35,000 trees because they had already done that. And so I'm not certain that San Antonio has met the goal yet, but I bet it has. And so that's what we're trying to do, is to get a lot of trees planted, indigenous trees, to the area in which they belong. And also Steve's environment group is really helping to sponsor a brand new nursery of trees planting in the Cameroons. And it's young children from 4 schools that are doing that. They're nursing the seeds. They're learning how to really cultivate the seeds and bring them into school nurseries. So those are the kinds of stories that we want in the Wisdom Book. And as I said, I'm sure that all of you have those kinds of stories that we can share. And then the last thing that I'm going to talk about is a brand new program that we are starting next month. It's SEED learning, social emotional learning. And so if you know teachers, if you know school districts, this is a program that is the legacy program of the Dalai Lama. He is using and has used his own funds to put this program into fruition. It is being administered through Emory University in Atlanta. And one of the things that we're hoping to do through the charter is to get cadres of trained instructors to deliver SEED learning in classrooms around the world. We're already working with SEED learning in India in particular, and in Jordan. But we have 5 sessions, they're free. And SEED learning is not an addition to the curriculum. Rather, it is a way for teachers to understand their own behavior, their own interaction with students, and as importantly, to help students understand neurologically, through neuroscience, what is going on for them as they get into bullying situations, if they get into conflict situations, so that SEED learning is a really important component that has not been for many schools a part of the natural process of how to relate to students. We'll have these 5 sessions. They'll start, they're 90 minutes. There's obviously some online work associated with them. They'll go from February till June. And then we'll be doing a few other kinds of things to support one another. But then we're going to have the Train the Trainer program starting in November. And that program for the teachers who choose to take it will last from November until May of 2024. So that's the other thing. A lot of this is in the newsletter. In the last newsletter is the announcement of the 5 sessions. We'll continue to announce that. Please read the newsletters because they really contain everything that we're doing. And as you can tell, like we have only a few minutes left, but there's so much more going on in the charter with our work with the Parliament of World Religions, because many of you know that we're a co-sponsor of the Parliament. We'll have 27 workshops at the Parliament. Several of these workshops will begin before the Parliament. We have a session called Pro-Social Spirituality. It will go for 4 days, 4 interactive sessions at the Parliament, but it will begin before the Parliament so that people will know one another before they come. So all of that. And if you are interested in C-learning, I think, if we can get more than one teacher per school, that's really important, because I think that people who have been working with compassionate initiatives in cities know that it takes a good team in order to effectively bring about change. I think we have time for a few questions. And I should tell you, no one has guessed Leiden. Leiden was the second compassionate city. So go ahead, Carla May.
Marilyn, could you tell us, it's C-learning, how is that spelled?
SEE, capital, 3 capitals, and then learning. So social emotional learning.
I put the link in the chat so you can
good.
see there. It's called Education Events C-Learning 5 Introductory Sessions. I can stick it in again if you can't see it.
Yeah, it's at the very end, I believe. Here. Yeah.
And another of the events I wanted to mention is the 40 Days of Peace, which we're going through, and the 23 Days of Compassion coming up, and the 5th of April, Golden Rule Day. So I'll put the links in there. You can all download this chat and copy paste the links into your browser or click on them fast here. And Jeff reminded me that some people have joined us late. So if you would like to share your email so others can contact you from this chat, you're more than welcome to. So.
And don't forget to download it, those 3 little dots on the bottom. Merida, right, that, the 40 Days of Peace, this is our 3rd year of doing it. Something is happening every single day from, we started January 13th. We're actually going until February 28th. Every single day we have something. And it's based on the legacy of Martin Luther King, who in his last book that he wrote, which really didn't come into publication until 10 years after his death, he spoke of the 3 evils. And the 3 evils: militarism, racism, and poverty. And so what we're trying to do is to show how different groups of charter partners and cities and organizations are really trying to deal in a positive way to undo those 3 evils. And so it's panel discussions. I think today, this very day, Cornel West is speaking in San Antonio, and so we're sharing that link. But take a look, there's some wonderful programming, and always we archive what we do. So if you missed it, it's still going to be there for your taking. Okay.
And just one other thing, to find out what we're doing very fast, if you always go to our homepage, at the very end, there's a calendar, and that calendar will give you the link to wherever these events are happening around the world. And you're welcome to join us to any of them.
Yes.
And I think we managed to cover everything. Almost, yeah. We could go on for hours, to be honest. There's so much happening.
Please contact us. We're willing to come to meetings to share something very specific. We're willing to address your concerns. And so, just write us daily. Merida will make certain to answer you. And I'll try to. So thank you so much for coming, and definitely for sharing.
Thank you.
See you next time, I hope. And if you come back, then we promise that maybe we'll find another way to do the introductions of one another so that we'll have a chance to talk with one another. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, we should be having one of these meetings once a month. So
I thought she had something and then she left. Okay.
That's okay. Saying thank you.
Hi. I have a
Kimberly.
quick question. How do you, so I'm on my phone. How do you download the chat from the
Oh,
phone?
oh, geez, I don't know from a phone, but do you see where you can
can't.
put something in for chat on your phone?
I believe you, oops. I believe you cannot download from a phone, but Kimberly, I'll send you the chat.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thank you, Jeff.
Okay.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
I'll try to include it somewhere.
And
I
you
c- maybe I
guys-
can
Thank you.
add it to the recording or
Oh,
something.
good idea. And if you can just check in with Carla May to see what she wanted, that would be great.
I'll do that.
Thanks a lot. Aditi.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Have a great day.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thanks.
Bye.